Yeah. So I'm just coming up here to say a few words. You guys are incredible. You shouldn't be giving me a round of applause. You should be giving yourself a round of applause, because this film is a product of all of you and the community that surrounded me because of this tragedy. I thank you guys all from the bottom of my heart, and it was a true labor of love, and we couldn't have done it without you, so thank you so much.
Let's have all the kings up, plus the darling Senator. Any additional words? Or am I just asking some questions? Well, I do know that you have some additional words. The power of film in legislature.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Tyler, again, the intent here is to get one motivated to get bills and laws passed that puts this to an end. And you have touched me extremely right now, extremely. So you did what you had to do, man. I tell you right now, that's a great job. I just want to give you a little bit of background on some of the work I've been doing in the state of Illinois with Chelsea's Law. And just so you know, I was touched very personally. My daughter Michelle and Chelsea were good buds through elementary school. There are 3 of them that hung around a lot, and this was motivated me to get something done. And I know the story here was that Brent and I met, I believe it was in DuPage with Conan. Yeah. Probably, I think this was, what, 6 months or whatever, right after you moved back. And we started talking about getting Chelsea's Law passed in Springfield, which I picked up the bill, and then I actually talked to the congressman, or the legislator in California, got a copy of what he drafted, and started working in Springfield to get it done. And I know we had a pause there where we pretty much said we got to re-energize first to make this thing happen. So we tried to get something going again this past year. Dennis Rebeletti, who's a representative who is an expert in this field, started getting things going, but as Springfield works, it doesn't time all the time, okay? Just because you want to get a bill out doesn't mean it gets out. So I am going to commit and promise to you that I will continue to work on this. I'm not going to be in Springfield next year because I'm running for U.S. Congress, and I also, whatever I can do in D.C. to stop this stuff from happening again, I will do everything in my power to make this law a nationwide law. It's so very, very important. It's very important. And I learned a lot. Thank you, Tyler. I learned a lot through the research I did too, and it's very true. These individuals that do these things are sick, and they cannot get well again. And I've heard my colleagues in Springfield argue the other side of the point, where, okay, you're going to taste this person's okay, you're okay, you can't be, no. You've got to get over that. We actually had Aaron come in and testify in Springfield. Are you here? Oh my gosh, where are you? Oh, you brought me to tears, you remember that, yeah. Thank you. You were so great, it's so awesome, it's unbelievable. But I will do everything I can to get this done in Illinois, working with the legislators who pick this up, and I will do everything I can, if God bless, put me in Washington to make this a national law too. So I just wanted to say thank you. And you did exactly what you needed to do. Put this in front of any mom, anybody, you'll have power. So thank you for putting this together.
To give you some of you don't know the whole picture, and I want to put it all together for you so you're aware. What we found out in California after the fact is that this coward had done this to another child 8 years previous. He had served a 5-year prison term. Okay, when I say he did the same thing, what he did, he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old and left her so damaged she was in the hospital for weeks.
but he was able to plead elude and lascivious because that was what was on the books. So he served 5 years and then was re-released back to society. To give you more of the story, when Chelsea was missing, Kelly and I are obviously hadn't slept for who knows how long. About day 3 or day 4, a special group of law enforcement agents show up, and they show us 54 pictures. We're sitting at our living room table, and they show us 54 pictures of known high-risk sexual predators living within 30 miles of us. So when this all happens, you start looking at it and you say, how do we as parents think that we're safe? Do we actually trust the laws in the books protect our children? Yes, we do. That's what we did. That's what you guys all do. Guess what? In Illinois, you have the same bad law we had in California. Right now, if this happens to a child here, not death, but happens to a child here, the judge has discretion between 6 years and 60 years. It's judge's discretion. After judge's discretion, the sentence gets automatically knocked down in Illinois by 30%, because that's just what we do in Illinois. We reduce the sentence because we need to save prison costs. Then they get to go in front of parole boards because they've been on good behavior. There's no chance they're serving this time. They're getting re-released. But once they have a second victim, we lock them away. You heard several people on this documentary say, these people, and I don't even want to say they're sick, because sick implies you can cure. Okay? It implies you can cure. They're terminal. They can't be cured. So why do we let them back? If they've had one victim, they've had 25 victims. We know this. We're not looking at thousands of people being locked up in Illinois. In California, after we passed the law, every year we publish a report that shows how the law is being used. Good or bad, how's it being used? And so last year in California, with the counties that reported back to us, which is a population base about the same size as Illinois, about 15 million people, there were 12 people that were sentenced to life without in California. 12 people. But those are at least 200 kids that didn't get sexually assaulted because we locked them away. Right? And if you follow Aaron and everything Aaron's done, there are so many kids that have had this happen to them, and it's so damaging. They are 26 times more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol. They're 6 times more likely to commit suicide. And it's something that's totally preventable by passing a law. What's crazy, again, and I don't want to go on this too much, but in California, the same law that we passed had been tried to be passed multiple times, and it never made it through. Because guess what? Politicians, don't care. They don't care. They react. They don't care. They react to that moment so they can get the moment. So we need to create the moment. So what we did through this documentary, we created an app, and it's called Chelsea Shield. Okay, it's downloadable at the App Store, Chelsea Shield, or you can go to our website if you have an Android phone and get it that way, because 2 different operating systems, which I don't understand. But what this app does, it gives you the chance to go ahead and say, I care, and you lend your name. That's all you're doing. You put your name in there and your zip code. The moment you do that, our foundation knows that you care. And so imagine me getting to go to legislators in Illinois and say, we have 1,000 people here that care. You know what one person speaking to a legislator equals? It equals about 2,000 people. That's how they do their math. So if I can bring 2,000 people to them, multiply that by 2,000, I have their attention. That's the only way we get it done. We have to create engagement. And thank God to Tyler for being strong enough to create the engagement we really need. So I am so proud of who you are and what you become. So you're an amazing little guy, Tyler.
So we have some questions in the audience. What I'll do is you'll say it, I'll repeat it so that we all hear it, and then if folks can answer. Go ahead.
What can we do as a group? Where do we need to write letters? What do we need to do besides?
So what can we do as a group of people? We write letters, what do we do?
And what getting this app?
Well, obviously get the app, that's a great thing, but what else do we do?
Yeah, so, first answer, again, the way that we passed this law in California, we passed it in record time in 7 months, and we passed it unanimously. At a time when California was upside down in the budget, they were considered the worst state in the country, outside of Illinois, on the budget crisis. That's why we chose to move here, because we won. They were also on this thing called ROCA, and ROCA is a federal law that says that your prisons are overcrowded in California, you need to release prisoners. So they were required to be releasing 30,000 prisoners a year. And we passed a law that added prisoners. Okay? The only way we passed it is because we created energy. And we did that through a blue ribbon campaign, where we asked people just like you to send a piece of blue ribbon to certain legislators. We did it through a signature drive, where in one weekend we raised over 25,000 signatures and had them delivered directly to the governor. We did it by doing a sunflower salute in Sacramento, where we had 200 volunteers go to Sacramento and hand sunflowers to every single legislator. But it takes involvement and engagement. And it takes focused energy. If a letter just comes to a legislator, but if 300 of them do, that changes it. We actually, in California, had days where legislators were getting over 1,000 pieces of blue ribbon in the mail. That wakes them up. They actually call us. Hey, what are these blue ribbons? So the first step is download the app. It's Chelsea Shield, right, Ty? Yeah. Is there anything else we need to know about that? Okay. And from there, you can lend your name. That's the first piece. Second piece, go to our website. It's chelseaslight.org. And you can always sign up there as well if you don't have an app. And that allows us to know and to create that energy. And from there, we can then start reaching out. Thank you.
Other questions? Get that app. I hope Sheldon did it. This thing. I saw, oh, you got another question? Please.
I know that in California you guys have beds, runs, finish, Chelsea's run. Do you plan on doing anything here in Illinois?
There's a Chelsea's Run in California. Are you doing anything in Illinois?
Good question. It takes a whole lot of people to pull off events. In California, in San Diego, we've been very fortunate to have an amazing organization that really just finds a way. Every year we, as Tyler mentioned in his documentary, we've had over 8,000 people there the last 2 years in a row, running in a 5K, walking in a 5K. A lot of you guys have been out to it. And all the proceeds from that we put right back into scholarships in San Diego community for kids to go to college. So it's really a rewarding way for us to continue Chelsea's legacy. But it's also a really great way to create engagement. And we would love to host a race here. Absolutely love it. But we need to make sure we do it the right way. What we don't want to do is host a race that's 300 people. One of our core values, and those of you that know our family, it's go big or go home. We're going to do it right or we're not going to do it. So Sheila, if you would like to volunteer to be on the race committee, I'd love to have you.
Yes, but Tyler, could you share what your plans are, what you're doing now?
Yeah. So I'm actually heading off to college on Monday after.
He's been chomping at the bit. He's ready.
Yeah, I'm heading off to the University of Oregon right after the San Diego Film Festival, so I'm flying there for San Diego Film Festival and going up to Oregon to actually major in film and journalism. And the reason I'm majoring in film journalism is because of my involvement in my creation of this film. It gave me my passion, so.
You'll be good at it.
Thank you. I hope so.
Question about the orange bands, because there's a bowl full of orange bands. So what's the deal there? What do we need to do?
The communication never changes. No, everyone, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you already have one of these. Grab another one, grab 2 or 3. wear them and let them be a reminder to you of what hope can do, what hope can escalate into. So many of you have said to us since we've been back, we don't know how you did this and how do you keep going, and Tyler nailed it perfectly. We do this and we're able to continue to get up every day and do what we do because of every single person in this room. We are you and you are us. We are no different than anyone in this room. We're a normal, happy little family who had a really horrible thing occur to them. But we, under extraordinary circumstances, you allowed us to do some extraordinary things, and that comes with love and hope and friendship and believing in us when we didn't quite know that we could do the things that we were about to do. So wear these orange bands, spread them near and far. Don't be a passive parent. We were passive parents before this happened to us. And it's one of my greatest regrets. These things don't happen to us. They don't happen in Naperville, they don't happen in San Diego, where we moved explicitly to a good neighborhood, to good schools, low crime. It happens, and it happens every day. So don't forget, time goes on, but these things keep happening. And it's up to us as everyday parents, everyday grandparents, brothers and sisters, uncles, to keep this fight going. Without you guys, we don't do it. We can't. So, thank you.
We've got a couple more minutes. Is there another question? Anyone? Okay. As we were saying, keep talking about it. You can go and grab a pizza with the folks that you're sitting next to and say, oh, how can I help? Or let's talk a little bit more about it. Or, wow, Tyler's a great filmmaker. Let's talk about that film some more. So do that. So talk amongst yourselves. Or you could stay here if you buy a ticket for the gala award show that starts at 7 o'clock. The doors are opening at 6:30, so you're welcome to be part of that. And then you can talk and mill about, of course, until the award show starts, and then you got to come in here and sit down and see the awards. And then go out afterwards, but keep talking about it. I think that's the key thing. Certainly, go ahead.
When this happened to our family, we needed a sanctuary. And you guys provided such a great sanctuary. You let us be just Kelly and Tyler. Without that, Ty wouldn't have grown into the kid he is. And now that Tyler's heading out to college, we're ready to kind of burst that bubble and get out of our sanctuary and make law work for us. We're ready to talk about it. We're ready to make a difference. So with this documentary, such fortuitous things happen. Tyler creating a documentary somehow gets picked up by Gleason at the Naperville Independent Film Festival. We didn't even know one of those existed. And she calls us and says, I need you to have your documentary for us. That's the epitome of involvement. So, Gleason, I just want to thank you for being willing and helping out. Our film, Tyler King Factory.